In this video today, we're going to talk about how to take a traditional business and bring it into the digital world.
So welcome to ProfileTree TV, and today I'm joined by Claire Stewart. So very excited to have Claire with us today. So thank you for coming in, and do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, your background and what you're doing?
Sure, so I'll take you right back really on my journey, and I guess I was about 14 when it all began. I was a high school student, so never got the grades to get to grammar school. And whenever I was 14, I had a careers class, and the teacher said, what does everybody want to do whenever they leave school? And I don't know why, but I always had this desire, inward desire, that I was going to be an accountant. Didn't really know what that meant. Didn't know much about the career path or anything, or what grades you needed. But the teacher actually said at that day, take a video home. It was the old VHS tape. Take the video home for the weekend and have a wee look at the video. So I was actually staying at my best friend's house that night, and I said, we have to watch this video. And we pressed play, and there was a guy there about, you know, your typical accountant, as you can imagine, 50s, kind of a drone voice. And she said, Claire, you can't be an accountant. You actually cannot do this job. And I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to reinvent accountancy. So that was when I was 14. Stayed at that school, actually did my A-levels, done an A-level in history, which meant nothing, but I got my grades for that. And then went to University of Ulster in Coleraine. Never wanted to kind of push myself into a corner. So because of that, I didn't actually do an accountancy degree, but business studies and computing. And loved it, had the time of my life, met lifelong friends, had a ball. Somehow managed to just land myself a trainee accountancy post without much thought, really. I was still kind of on the wave of just, oh, that's what I want to do, didn't know much about it. But I got myself a trainee accountancy post in Lisburn in a medium-sized firm. Done my training, and I knew that as soon as I finished that I wanted to get out into the real world, get out into industry and work for a proper company. You know, I guess grass is always greener on the other side, so I thought I want to get out of here and concentrate on that. So at that stage I actually went into Bedek Limited, who are quite well known local firm here, do bed linen and lovely girly things, I would say. Became their company accountant and had one of the best bosses that I think I've ever had. And looking back, I didn't know that at the time. But he was actually so willing to share his knowledge, to sit down with me for hours and explain how things worked, and really, really good time spent there. From that then, I actually got married while I was there to my wonderful husband, Will, and got married while I was there, and not long after I came back, decided another job was in order. Had bills to pay at that stage, and a bit higher salary was on the cards. So I moved to a global manufacturing firm based in Lurgan. And yeah, it was fine. It wasn't me right from the start. It just done the job, got on okay. And while I was there, I got pregnant with my first little girl, with our first little girl. And always thought to myself, I would love to work for myself someday, whenever I had enough money or whenever I was older. Just never seemed like the right time. So just before I went on maternity leave, I spoke to my boss at the time and said, look, this is what I'm thinking. Perhaps I could look at a 4-day week to return to work. And he said, Claire, go on maternity leave. Don't even think about this. Just go and enjoy it, and I'll speak to you whenever you've had the wee one. So January 2013, Maddie was born. And for those of you who have children, I don't know if you have kids, but you don't expect the life change that it's going to bring with it.
Wow,
and it was a big shock to our system. We were used to doing our own thing, and no longer could we do that. 6 weeks after we had her, I went in to meet my boss and the HR boss, I guess. And they said, look, we've assessed this and we can't accommodate any flexible working for you. So basically, in my words, it's full time or it's no time. So come out to the car park, and hormones and all that, being up the left with having a baby, I just sat and cried, and I thought, what am I going to do? But very quickly I realised, you know what? I'm going to just do this for myself at this stage. I'm used to being on maternity pay, so it's no big loss. Chatted it over with Will and decided this is what I'm going to do. But the more I thought, I've no clients. I can't sit in my kitchen at home, which is in the country. How am I going to build a client base? So through a conversation with someone in a coffee shop, I heard about an office space that was opening in Lisburn, and phoned the landlord, and he said, look, it's just a room with a desk in it. And I said, perfect, that's all I need, a room with a desk. So started there October 2013, and the first day was honestly the only day that I had nothing to do. Was there for a year on my own. At that time it was called CES Accounting Services, and built up to about 40-50 clients in that first year, and then went into partnership with a friend of mine, Gilbert Cartmill. It's funny because my dad, all the while knowing this, what I was going through, said, Claire, you don't go into partnership. You never do it. It's not a good idea. And he had been burnt in the past, and I thought, you know what, it'll be fine. It will be fine. So we had a chat, and that's what we did. We went into partnership 2014, so just a year after I started. And it's funny how not much planning went into that, but probably to my shame, not much planning went into that. I'm an accountant and you should plan everything, but I didn't. But it's funny how different we are. Gilbert and I are completely different. I bring a whole marketing side, business development side, and he brings IT, software, that side of things. So it's fantastic because there is no competition as such. You know, we do our own roles within the firm, and it works really well together. So going for 4 years, 4.5 years or so, and loving every minute of it.
Incredible. So wow. So big steps.
Big steps, but at the time never felt like a risk. Never really felt the fear, and I think that comes back to the fact that both my parents were self-employed. My dad had been a self-employed mechanic from he was 17. My mum owns a restaurant. So it never felt like anything out of the norm. It never felt like it was a big step being self-employed. Never felt it. Just decided to go for it because I've watched them, and I somehow knew that I could do it if I just put my mind to it. And I think, as you'll know yourself, a lot of it's mindset.
Totally.
And I would always say to clients, what you know and what you're good at is only 10% of the puzzle, because you end up being everything in the business.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how we started, and there's still lots to achieve, but that's the beginning of it all.
Incredible. Did you find growing up in a house with your parents as they were entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
That influenced you then?
It certainly did. My dad would have worked from 8 in the morning to 10 at night.
Yes.
He had a garage away from the house at that stage. And my mum raised us. At that time she didn't have her own business, but she raised us, done the homeworks with us. We never saw Dad. Saturday night he took off, and we always went for an ice cream, and that was our treat. But it was my norm. Yeah. I never felt cheated in any way. I had a very, very good upbringing. My mum went into business. Well, what actually happened with my mum was she started to do catering from our house. So from I was young, maybe 10 or 11, she started to run private parties in our home. So maybe 3-4 nights a week, we were kind of told, go to the bedroom and don't come out, because we've people coming who are paying money for a meal. And that was the norm again. And just about 14-15 years ago, she actually opened her own restaurant to get away from that invasion of her own home. But she loved it. So yeah, it was very much part of life. Being self-employed that's what you do.
Incredible. And taking the steps into a partnership then.
Yeah.
Obviously the first time, and I've been in partnership before, it can be amazingly good. It can be incredible when it works as well.
Yeah.
And two together is like multiple, maybe 5.
Totally.
Because it's amazing you've got the perfect skill set, as you say, you're not competing, the yin and yang. But also it's very risky, and I'm sure even in your business you've probably seen sometimes when it's tough and it doesn't work out, so you do need to consider,
of course,
all aspects when you're going in.
Yeah.
Do you think the fact that you and your partner are so different and have different skills is key?
Definitely. And I also think the fact that we're both different genders helps the whole situation. I don't know if that's just in our situation, but I just find it works very well, because we really are like chalk and cheese. He's very focused on internal processes, and I'm more externally focused. So
Incredible.
yeah, it goes really
Works
well.
That's it. And you've got your own domain of expertise. Actually, no one's stepping on someone else's toes.
Exactly.
Amazing. You talked about good bosses.
Yeah.
And the grass greener. So I actually have the same story as you. I remember my best ever boss, and you don't realise it till you're
don't realise
in another
it.
place.
And in fact, whenever I left and started my own business, it was at that stage that I actually went back and contacted him and said, Brian, I just want to let you know that you had such an influence on my life. He was the type of person who brought you along with him.
Yeah.
He was never all for himself. And in fact, he did say to me, if you're thinking of a career change here, let me help you with it. And you don't get that everywhere. But it's shaped my outlook for how I treat my staff too. He was very willing to share, but yet he wasn't sitting on my shoulder. He gave me the room to grow as a person. And I guess that's what a true leader is as well, being able to lead and not micromanage.
Incredible. And I have to say, I look back and I think one of my early bosses would have been, and funny enough, Brian too, there we go. Although it's the same though. But then I look at some of, and actually I've had some incredible bosses throughout the years actually in different countries. But I look back at some places I've been and I have to say it's been horrendous. I can't even believe that I was in that environment. And as you say, it's how you treat people now.
Yeah.
Beyond belief, it's how it shaped yourself and myself and how we treat people then, without a doubt.
Well, I think it's even shaped for our practice, because we have staff there and we are very open in saying to the girls who work for us, family comes first and home life comes first, and if you need to be at home, go home. And do you know what? You might not get the work done that day, but it's a far better place to be.
100%.
And that's something I learnt as well, through a number, being employed by a number of companies.
Incredible. So in the business now, 4 years?
4 years.
Nearly, yeah. What services do you offer then?
So all the services you would expect of an accountant. So your compliance services, which would be your annual accounts, your corporation tax returns, personal tax returns, VAT returns, payroll, all of that. And that kind of ticks away like clockwork. And in the last couple of years, we have really worked on the strategy side of the business for our clients. So we've started to introduce these new services to existing clients in order to probably increase the value of what we can offer to the outside market. So we do a lot of quarterly strategy sessions. I actually do a lot of mentoring within the business and software training and setup. So I think increasingly you see accountants offering those services, but we have been in the software side of things with the likes of your Xero and your QuickBooks Online since we started business. So we've got a good handle on it, and we're also Xero Gold partners just in the last week or two. So
Incredible.
it means for things like making tax digital coming up, it's not a stress for us because we're ready to go.
Yeah.
The systems are in place, have been for some time, and so it's just another tick in the box as far as we're concerned.
And you've been doing it for years?
We've been doing it for years, so I think clients like that fact that we're ahead of the game. And I was at a big conference a couple of weeks ago in London called XeroCon, and that's what they were even saying to the people who were in the room: you are ahead of the curve. And it's funny how you don't realise that, but they're obviously seeing the statistics of the UK market and they're saying you're actually ahead of the game. So that's nice to know too. But that's not enough. There's going to be changes, there's going to be further developments, so it's keeping ahead of that.
Yes, and incredible that you're ahead of the game in Xero, but you're also ahead of the game in content marketing as well. I would argue a bit, and social media marketing as well.
Yeah, and thank you for that. I guess I done quite a lot of marketing as part of my degree back in the day, so I've also always realised the importance of it. And very soon, whenever I started my own business, I had to realise that, do you know what? Get over yourself in a way. Stop thinking about what people are going to think about you for recording a live video or whatever that might be. Just do it, because if you don't do it, somebody else will be.
Cool.
And we were chatting a while there offline about Instagram, and I've found incredible results with Instagram of late, which surprised me. And the way I'm approaching that is we have a business Instagram and then I have a business blog Instagram. and the blog is actually pushing stuff into the business arena.
Amazing.
But it's not all about tax and about accounts. It's everyday life really and business. You know, that's the advice that people want. What we find with clients is they just want to know their taxes looked after.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff that they're really putting value on.
Yeah, and that's the whole industry's changing actually.
The whole industry's changing, yeah. So, well, the word on the streets at the minute is or artificial intelligence. So you can either see that as an opportunity or a threat, and for us, we are seeing it as a massive opportunity because it's going to free the time that we have up to do more valuable things for our clients. So we become less number crunchers and we become more forward planners, looking at projections, looking at resources even within your business. So that's going to be incredibly valuable for us.
Yeah, and
our clients.
And myself as a small business, as you say, we just need to know that we're ticking the boxes and doing the accounts, but the value is in the advice and the planning and the strategy and what we're going to do next and how we do things to be, I guess, as efficient as we can be and save money and not waste money.
Yeah, well, as well as that, I think we have to set a good example for our clients. So internally, we are completely systems driven. And that's probably down to my business partner driving that. I have to give credit where it's due. But everything has a process, everything has a system to run it. So even an onboarding process where we're adding a new client on, it's completely seamless. So how else are you supposed to advise a client on how to do that if you're not doing it yourself? So we very much lead from within.
And I have to say again, from my own personal experience, we've been introducing systems and really focused on systems, priority for this month as well, into our business. And actually that's what's allowed us to scale. We wouldn't be able to, we just couldn't, you can't scale if you don't have the systems.
Exactly.
You can't grow.
Yeah.
So without that, you're in the water, you're swimming.
Yeah. Another thing we're finding with our clients is that we have a high involvement with them. So I don't think accountancy can be any longer a once a year visit. There's no point in that. You're just looking back. So we typically see our clients maybe once a quarter, which again we're more like an outsourced finance director really, and that's where we're going with the business. That's our ideal client.
Yeah.
So lots of ways that we want to grow and hopefully will grow over the next number of years.
So we're talking about all the ways you're different from what we think is a standard accountant or accountancy service. So it's the service looking forward, not back, technology, you really want to be part of the business partnership actually, more than anything. Yeah. So very different outlook.
Yeah, and we kind of went into business with that approach, so we've never had to change that, which has helped too, because you know what change is like in business.
Yes.
So
it's constant.
It's constant.
It's the only thing that's guaranteed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Incredible. So you do mentoring and support, and incredible. You see so many businesses coming in with different sorts of problems. So you obviously know the secret formula for helping a small business grow.
Yeah.
So what is it? X plus Y?
You want me to give you that for free or what?
Tune in next video. I'll do that. So yeah, any tips or advice? Or where should someone focus?
It's funny because out of the businesses that I mentor, a lot of it is systems. That is a lot of it. They just don't understand. They don't know what the right and left hand are doing. They're doing completely different things. So I work with them a lot on systems. And again, looking forward. I don't know if it's a Northern Ireland thing, a cultural thing, but a lot of people are so focused on what's behind, and it doesn't matter what's behind. It's about what you're going to do in the future. I actually love the mentoring side of things, and I'll tell you a bit about how I broke into that. I joined Women in Business right at the start of my journey, 2013. Went to a lot of their events, as you do in the early days. You're at every networking event that you can possibly get your hands on, just to meet people, raise visibility, all of that. And was approached then by Women in Business, would you be a mentor? I thought, what have I got to give here? But went with it anyway. As part of that, they actually do some training with you, and a proper coaching business do some training with you. And what I found was what I could give to the mentee was invaluable, but in fact what I got back was absolutely amazing, because the amount that you learn from somebody else, where they've come from, and that it's really my passion in business, is the mentoring side of things, and that's how I get into that. So about a couple of years in, then I thought, I'm going to pursue this and do this internally, and it's taken off quite well.
Incredible. So clients would come to you and you would mentor them as well as
Yeah.
looking after.
Well, it's funny you say that.
It's all the same, maybe.
It's part of it, because we have clients who come to me only for mentoring, and they have another accountant.
Wow.
And sometimes, that's because maybe they've had a personal relationship, or it's their dad's best friend, or whatever. But yeah, we have both, where our clients, we mentor them, or people just come for mentoring alone.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very different business
It
model.
is different, yeah.
And I'm very impressed. So again, we would, ironically, by default, we would see ourselves as mentors for businesses that come in looking for digital strategy.
Yeah.
And again, who are trying to grow their business on Facebook, and we're going, oh my God. Actually, now we're talking about it, one of the things I plan to do this weekend is Google Maps. In 2019, 2020, I think will replace Facebook pages, because now you can add photos, upload videos, you can put posts on Google Maps. Most people don't know this. Reviews over and back, you can communicate with clients, and you can now, it's launched in America, you can follow a Google business page.
It's very interesting.
Incredible. And probably for most businesses, the first place that anyone, a customer, a potential customer, will see your business is going to be in Google Maps.
Exactly.
So having a profile, and it's totally free, and you don't have to pay for that.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
And Google Maps, I'm just putting actually a conversation today with someone. Google Plus closes in August. It's their attempt at a social network, but I think now that Facebook are having tough times, they actually see an opportunity. And as we all know, Facebook, Google and Amazon are killing each other to win the tech race. So very interesting. So again, back to the mentoring, having someone outside of the business giving advice.
That's right.
I can see how incredible that is.
And I have my own business mentor too. In fact, I have a few. Some of them kindly meet me for a coffee, and it's free. And we've built a friendship up, and we kind of hold each other to account. But yes, I do pay a mentor as well, because, and right from the start I've done that. Whenever I couldn't even afford it. But looking back, the mistakes I would have made without that would have cost me far more than what the mentoring services cost me.
And I have mentors too.
Yeah.
And engaged mentors where I have calls and check-ins and get killed every time because I haven't done. And then I laugh, and I've been given some amazing advice by my mentors who've been there and done it, and I haven't listened to it. Yeah. And a year later I'm going back and saying, hands up, you were right, and adjusting. But again, without the so you live and learn, like you think you know it all, but that's the problem though. That's the problem. But we get so, no one knows our business like we do.
That's right.
But sometimes we're buried in the business too deep.
It's just a fresh pair of eyes. Yeah. And in most cases it's not actually rocket science. It's what you already know, but it's somebody saying to you, you need to go and do it now.
Yes, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So how can I make my business better? In general.
You?
Yeah, well, anyone watching this, so what should they look at? Is there things that they should look at or consider, or what? In
order to grow their business?
Yeah.
Well, the things that helped me grow were networking. People make me and they say, oh, you're so confident, and I go, no, I am not one bit confident. I have forced myself into that role for business. I go home and I hardly speak to anybody. That's what I'm like. But somebody gave me that advice right at the start, was to get out of your office and start meeting people, and whenever you go, don't sit beside somebody that you know, sit beside somebody you don't know. So that would be the number one tip. Get yourself out the door, even if it's painful. Second tip would be get a business mentor. Whether it's me or not, just get somebody who you can be accountable to. Even if you have to pay to get the right one, that's the second thing I would do. And number three, fail fast. So if you make a mistake, pick yourself back up again and go for it. As I said earlier in the interview, it doesn't matter what's past, it's about what's in the future. So all about goal setting. Not even purely financial, but setting those milestones for yourself. If you don't have goals, then I don't think you'll ever grow. You've nothing to aspire to.
Wow. So goals are critical then for business.
Totally.
So have you? What's the goals? Can I ask? I
Yeah,
can tell you my
of
goal.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. We have a goal that we would like 2 offices in the next couple of years. We've already been looking in the local area, but we would like 2 offices, possibly one partner in one and myself in the other. And we would like to increase the number of our team as well. So currently there's 5 of us. If demand keeps increasing the way it has done, we're probably going to need to double that in the foreseeable future.
Cool.
So, I mean, I have my own personal goals for my own personal brand, and personal brand, I guess it's a new phrase as well, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but I believe that there needs to be a personal brand as well as a business brand, and they need to go hand in hand. And again, it's not good if you're not a very confident person, but it has to be done. So I have my own goals around that, and well, one of them was winning that Women in Business Award there just a number of weeks ago. And you know what, you can put whatever you can do whatever you put your mind to, and it's mindset.
And for the few people that don't know, do you want to name the award that you did win?
Yeah, it was best customer service in the small business category, and it's down to systems again. A new client comes through the door, the customer service is amazing because the system runs it. Yes, there's a person in behind it, but it's key. Yes. There's no waiting on emails for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? It's running like clockwork.
Incredible. So we're talking about personal brands, and I totally agree actually what you're saying, that so we obviously building brands online and content marketing as the same as yourself, but actually at the end of the day people do business with people. And it even took myself living online all these years to that was probably the fundamental thing that probably changed our business, is that you can do all the online marketing, post all you want on Facebook, have as many followers and drive leads, but at the end of the day it's still people who do business with people, and the personal brand is incredible. I think it's going to be the most important marketing thing for the next couple of years, without a doubt.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Well, no, and your personal brand is amazing online. So
well, we're getting there with it, and we had another conversation offline about how much work that takes, and that's been 5 years, pumping in hours and hours to social media, and it's all the hidden work that nobody sees. It's constant engagement and trawling through and commenting, but you know what, it's almost like you wake up one day and you go, not that you've made it, but you go, it's actually starting to work here, and that's a nice point to get to, and you go, it's actually, it hasn't all been in vain.
Exactly. I was going to ask you, my next question was, how did you become an overnight success online?
Really?
Yeah, that's it. What? Because I have to say, no, back to like your personal brand online is incredible. It's really, really good to see and refreshing, and it really does stand out. So without a doubt, yeah, overnight success.
Thank you.
That's it, yeah. 5 years. Damn me, well,
5 years it's taken. Yeah.
And hard work.
Yeah.
And as you say, but it's starting to pay off. You're starting to see dividends. So if anyone's watching and not investing the time and not engaging in personal brand and hiding behind the computer because they don't want to get out, what would your advice be then?
My advice would be that at least one person in the business needs to do it. As I said at the start, Gilbert is not that type of person. I am. He's happy enough for me to do that, and he would actually say, you're the face of the business, come on out and get a photo taken. And that's uneasy for me because he's in behind me helping me, but it's how it has to be. I was at an Instagram workshop with a blogger recently, and something she said to me, and you'll probably agree with it, she said it's not even about consistently posting, it's about consistently engaging, and it's about looking for where you can step in and put a comment, and that's the tiring bit. I find it's easy to put a post up, not so easy to engage.
Yes, and exactly, and that's where it takes the time, because as you say,
Yeah.
you post, hit and run,
Yeah.
and go on, but actually it's the engagement that wins the battle,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
It's the relationships, and I had actually a prospect in with me yesterday who I'd linked up with on the business blog on Instagram just about 3-4 weeks ago. So it does work.
Incredible. And back to content marketing, so you've published your own book.
Yeah.
So will you mind tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, in a way there was 2 reasons to that. One was purely selfish, that it would help the personal brand side of things. 2 was that it would help clients. So if I look at the client end first, clients were continually saying to me when they started their own business, what do we need to look for and what do we need to do? And I decided to write a book because I was continually saying the same thing. And I found myself whenever I started my own business that there was nowhere where I could get everything in one place. It was Google, it was a textbook, it was the newspaper. And so I decided to write this book, 25 Ways to Get Your Business Off to a Good Start, so that I could list 25 things that needed to be considered when starting up your business. It's not a novel by any means. It's very factual. It's very focused on what you need to do, and it has social media in there too. Coming back to my own personal reasons why I did it, I was working with a mentor in Sheffield at that time, and he was all for personal brand and getting yourself out there. A fellow accountant actually, who had owned his own practice at one stage, and he said, Claire, you need to write a book. And I said, what would I write a book about? He said, well, look at what your clients are continually asking you or what their needs are and write it on that. And that's what I did. And it's funny because initially the idea started off as a booklet, and it was going to be just a few pages so that I can get something printed here. And when you start to write, you actually can't stop. So it's now a hardback version.
Yes.
So that's been good too. Good from the fact that you come in to see me as a client, and if I'm able to say to you, you can take a copy of the book home, people go, wow, she's written the book. You know, so lots of reasons why I did that. And whenever I completed it, I said I will never do this again. But actually, I've been thinking about it.
Book 2's on the
Version 2.
Yeah. Right, updated.
So, yeah.
Excellent. So would you mind if we ask you to share 1 or 2 of your top tips then from the book?
They may be the same as the top tips that I've given you for growth, perhaps.
Very good. So follow them.
Yeah, so read the book.
Yeah, read the book.
And find out.
Go to your office. So
Yeah.
where can we get the book?
You can get it online.
Yeah.
You'll see the link on most of my social media channels, or I can email it to you if you drop me an email.
Brilliant. Excellent.
We're actually sold out of the hardback, so I haven't
Incredible.
reordered, so I need to get more of those.
And watch out for book 2.
Big book 2. Possibly on pricing, price psychology,
Wow.
that side of things.
Excellent. So what type of businesses actually could go to your practice?
We have a wide range. We have people who are individuals who just need a tax return done because they have a rental property. We have businesses turning over 5-6 million and everything in between. As I said earlier, our ideal client is that client who values all of the other stuff apart from their accounts, and that's what we're clearly focused on now. And we've actually more recently had to say no to be able to say yes, and it's a difficult place to get to as well, because I don't like to say no to anybody, but I feel like that's where our focus is going at the minute, that we are focusing more on those where we can give higher value.
It's incredible, and you know you're in a good place when you have to say no.
Yeah.
You have to say no.
Yeah.
Because you just don't have the time, and the worrying thing is then you start to disappoint the people that you are.
Well, that's it, and I always say to people who come in through the door and see me, please don't judge the service. That you might get 3 quotes from an accountant. Please don't judge it based on the price. Judge it on how you actually get on with that person, because for most cases the average relationship with an accountant is 7 years. Is the industry average, so it's a long time to be with somebody that you don't get on with.
You change everything. You're actually right there. You change probably accountancy and solicitors. You probably have a long time.
Well, that's it. We took over a new client there recently who came to me because she said, I'm sick of coming out to the car and crying after I meet my accountant, and I thought, that can't happen. It just can't. So make sure you get on with them. Yeah,
that sounds tough. So obviously women in business today, still challenges in the business place.
Yeah.
Do you find, what do you think the challenges are?
For me as a woman in business, I find work-life balance incredibly hard. I have 2 wee girls, 5 and 3, and whenever I'm at work I feel like I should be at home, and whenever I'm at home I feel like I should be at work, and it's a constant struggle. People often say to me, because of what I do with women in business and because of the ladies blog, the business blog that I do, they say, oh, you're a feminist, and I say, no, in no way am I a feminist, but I understand the struggles and the stresses that most women have, I'm not saying men don't have those, but with the likes of kids and stuff like that, it's just a different place. And I think you feel emotionally drawn in so many different directions, and that's my main struggle. Boundaries is a big thing for me, and January, just at the start of this year, was a big light bulb moment for me. I went to a workshop in Galgorm run by a lady called Kate Marshall, who would be a good one for your next video.
Yep, reach out.
And I went there thinking that it was going to be a business workshop, and it was very clearly focused on personal goals. And is your business achieving your personal goals? And that changed things for me too, because I thought I went into this business because I wanted flexible working.
Yeah.
I went into this business because I was having children and it was going to work for me, and I really had to take a step back and look at myself and think, that's not doing either of those two things for you at the minute. So at that point in time, I had to draw very clear boundaries. I would have sat to 2, 3 in the morning at the laptop, didn't speak to my husband very much. That was fine. He was probably quite happy with that at the time. But you know what I mean? I had to draw very clear boundaries, and I struggle with it every day, but I'm getting better at it.
It's tough.
So that would be a key point to any other woman in business who is struggling to do it all. You can't do it all.
Yeah, and you just have to accept it.
Just draw the line, yeah.
Today was really interesting because actually I was coming here to have a conversation about accounts, and actually I think I've had a conversation about marketing and personal branding and all the other facets of the business that I wouldn't have expected to be talking about. So you've actually I'm actually blown away. It's really good. No, it's really good.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So it's very clear that you do understand probably some of the most important aspects of the business.
Yeah.
The marketing, getting the brand out there, and obviously the accounts side and the mentoring side sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
So if anyone watching this today wanted to find out more about the business, to reach out, to talk to you about mentoring or accounts, where's the best places for them to find you?
You can find us anywhere, I guess.
Yes, content marketing, social media, you're there. I'm very impressed. Yeah.
We have a website which I'll put my hands up and say it's not great at the minute. It needs revamped, but it's there, which is cartmillstewart.co.uk. If you're a lady following along who would like a bit of everyday business advice, you can find me personally at Ladies Side by Side on Instagram, and you'll find our business name on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook.
Amazing. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming in
Thank you.
today and sharing your
Appreciate
journey, your experience, and some amazing tips for any businesses who are watching this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kieran.
Great. So thank you for watching us today. Be sure to check out the links below and connect and subscribe and follow on Instagram, of course. And this is us. This is Kieran from ProfileTree, coming from the Innovation Factory on Springfield Road. And no doubt we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thank you again.